Hey guys, it's Brenda from the Paranormal Girls coming at you with episode one, the very first episode ever of Deep Dive Podcast. Tonight I have John and Andy from Pocono Regional Paranormal Group here with us. Will help me tonight. I'm going to be saying Pocono. I just know I am, even though I know how it's pronounced. You guys want to go ahead and say hi and say which one you are and
How's it going? I'm Andy.
I'm John. How are y'all doing?
perfect,
Thanks
perfect.
for
And
having
it
us
is
on.
live.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining. It is live out there on Facebook. If you guys want to go ahead and share it out really quick while I do your back
Absolutely.
history. Um, the Pocono Regional Paranormal was created back in 2021 at the Pocono Pub, where John Keegan met Andy McShane. Andy had been working in the pub for at least 3 years. John was hired on as the executive chef. John found out that Andy was into the paranormal, and they both decided they wanted to explore on Clinton Road in West Milford, New Jersey. This was the first time the two did an investigation together, and it wasn't until 4 or 5 months later they called themselves the Pocono Regional Paranormal. Since then, they have investigated numerous locations within the Pocono Mountains, including the Sherman Theater in Stroudsburg, Hungry Hill, which is a Revolutionary War site, St. Peter's Lutheran Church Cemetery, which holds the remains of a family that was involved in an Indian massacre. The goal for the team is to be able to showcase the spookier side of the Pocono Mountains and to tell the stories accurately. Um, Again, welcome to the podcast, guys. So excited to have you being the first guest ever. That is
We're
awesome.
excited.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure, none at all. Um, so as you guys are joining in tonight, please feel free to say hi to the guys. Put any comments in the question or questions in the comments, so we can make sure that we ask them along with all of that stuff. If you guys have not checked out their Facebook page, please do so. They have some interesting information on there. They talk about different locations, areas, some that are still there, some that are not there. But it's really interesting to see these um, beautiful buildings and what they once were, and some of the stories because they add all the storyline that they have available to those. And I do look at those every day, and I thoroughly enjoy reading about them. They did a beautiful Victorian place yesterday, and I was like, inspired because that building was beautiful. I can just imagine what it looks like on the inside. So, um, where, hi, Aaron. Thank you so much for joining. Aaron says, hi, guys.
Hi, Aaron.
Um, so, talking a little bit more about what you guys post on your page, where do you guys get that information from?
So, a lot of the information I'm getting from online. I'm looking through multiple sources. Um, I've also gone through the Historical Society for a couple locations, as well. Just trying to find out a little more on the histories of certain places within the Poconos. Um, and again, some of it is also from talking to like the owners and getting the stories from there as well. Like with the Sherman Theater, when we did that, we were talking with what's his name, Dan. Dan. Um, he was the one that brought us in, and he was the one that was telling us all about the history, how the Sherman Theater was used as a refuge during the flood of '55. And from there, I started looking into the the flood itself to find out more about it and learning about how 78 people in Monroe County alone, which our county is not a huge county, but it's a decent sized county. But of the 100 people that died in the whole storm, 78 of them were in our county.
And
That's crazy.
I'm from this area, born and raised in New Jersey, and I've been reading about ghost stories, paranormal stories for most of my life. And if you live within 100 miles, you're going to hear somebody ask, "Oh, did you hear about Buck Hill Manor? Or do you know about this place or that place?" And especially when you tell people that you do investigations, you're going to hear, "Oh, my uncle told me about this place," or "Did you hear about that place?" And it's just such a military phrase would be a target-rich environment for paranormal investigation in this area.
Yeah, there's it's not just paranormal as well. There's also other things, like a lot of people reported UFO sightings as well. Back in the day, there actually used to be a UFO research lab right here in the Poconos, because people were calling the 911 center so much about lights in the sky, that this group started up, and they were the ones taking the calls instead. So they kept the records of that. I have no clue what happened to that. I think they're long since gone. And then there's also stories of um, what's called Masengo. Masengo is from the Lenape tribe. It was called the masked spirit, um, and it was seen as a guardian of the forest, but we would recognize it now as a Bigfoot. So there has been stories of a Bigfoot in the area, especially in like the Blakesley area, heading into Carbon County.
Wow. So Pocono region is pretty much a paranormal hotspot. That
Absolutely.
Yes, very much
does
so.
does a lot of people know about that, or is it something
No,
that there's no? So now,
it's to be honest with you, there are some like I would say let's Taps did an investigation at the old jail in Jim Thorpe. That was the first time that I had actually seen anything about paranormal in Monroe County, or not. That's not Monroe County. That's Carbon, but in the Pocono region, I should say. So that was
interesting.
the first time I'd ever seen or heard anything about it.
And a lot
We're
of
gonna
it
look
is
at
from older shows, like back in the day used to be a show called Unsolved Mysteries. And I'd hear about things like Stroudsburg's Rain Man and Hill Manor and Eastern State Penitentiary. That's nowhere near Monroe County, but back then where they only had 2 or 3 shows a year that you might see something paranormal, and now you can't swing a dead cat without seeing 5 paranormal podcasts or something. So now it's much easier to learn about things that we really had to almost deep dive to try to just find a little bit of information even 10 or 15 years ago. So the internet and people like you that have pages and podcasts help get more information. So if we can help somebody learn something about Buck Hill Manor or the Sherman Theater or the Pocono Pub that they may have not have learned before, that's part of the reason why we do it.
So you just mentioned the Pocono Pub. Is it haunted?
Yeah, yeah. There's the Pocono Pub. My boss, I still work there. He's owned it for over 38 years, but there's been a business on that footprint for over 150 years. And before that, it was Indian land. And we have been we've been there many times, and we've documented it, and we've had some very crazy experiences. And we, to this day, the other day, we were sitting in the kitchen just getting things ready, and a hotel pan fell at the top of a freezer. Nobody near it. And I just looked around and said, morning. Because it gets to a point you get used to it. It
Oh yeah.
doesn't really jolt you anymore.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yes.
Um, I'm actually fascinated to learn more about different locations because I do location drops every day. So y'all can send me some location drops and I will get them out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be great because I think everybody is always looking for different places to go and different areas to go. And I know that there are so many areas that aren't specifically hit or you don't hear as much about an area, which, obviously we're learning that the Pocono region isn't very well versed out there. Um, as like some of the other areas, like you said, Eastern State or Pennhurst, or like things that are out of that area. That is awesome. So, take me to the night that you two realized that you were both uh, paranormal lovers and decided to make this a group and investigate.
Well, I had been working at the pub, like as John said, for a few years, and our head chef had left to go do something else, and they hired a succession of other people to come in that nobody really stuck. And then John came in and did an amazing job. I still miss working with him. But we were talking one night, and I was actually talking to one of the other cooks, and he overheard, and he said, "You like paranormal stuff?" Yeah. I said, "Yeah." People think I'm a kook, but I like reading about it. I like watching stuff. And he said, "Oh, I am too. Have you ever done an investigation?" No, man, I'd really love to do. Oh, why don't we do one? And this was in, I think it was early October.
Early October, yeah.
So we made plans. Okay, well, why don't we get together? Let's find some place to go. And the first thing I think we both did at the same time was Clinton Road. If you don't know much about Clinton Road, supposedly one of the most paranormally active roads in the world. For not just paranormal, there was an old place there called Jungle Habitat that closed down, and they didn't bother relocating the animals. They just left them out into the woods. So
No.
there'd be people that would see animals that shouldn't be in the woods, and there was also a prolific serial killer at the late 1980s named Richard, who used Clinton Road as a dumping ground. And so it's very, very paranormal. So we said, okay, let's go do that. We'll do it for Halloween. And I think it was John said, maybe not Halloween because it's going to be more active with police that night than anything else. So we went down like a week before Halloween, and we spent about 3 hours down there, and all we got was cold.
And a weird guy pulling up to us and saying, "Hey, you guys okay?" And we're just sitting there looking at him like, "Yeah, we're good."
And the guy just turned around and went in the other direction. But it was I don't think either one of us really thought it was going to do anything more than that. But then John said, "What are you doing Wednesday night?" It always had to be a Wednesday night because I had off on Thursday, and John didn't have to be to work until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's actually how we got our first team name, the Wednesday Evening Paranormal Society. So,
Oh.
but we went to the second place we went to was called Henryville House, and a lot of with the exception of the Pocono Pub and the Sherman Theater, everything we've done has been outdoors. So Henryville House is a very well-known house in the area, and everybody will have their own story. Oh, I saw this there. I saw this there. We are not like a lot of other groups. We want to make sure that we do things 100% legally. There's probably 10 different ways to get into the building, but there's 20 no trespassing signs. So what we just stayed outside and we did what we could do with our recorders and our devices, and we got a little bit of information. But it was about 3 weeks later, we were saying, we want to put some of this out. We had it on our personal Facebook pages, but we had his friends and my friends, but we got to come up with some kind of name for this. So we came up with Stroudsburg, and that really handcuffs us to Stroudsburg.
No.
Okay, well, what about Eastern Pennsylvania? There's already a group called Eastern Pennsylvania. I said, we got to come up with something for the Pocono region. John said, Pocono Regional. I said, great. Pocono Regional what? And I said, what are Pocono Regional Paranormal Investigations? And John said, wait a minute, what if we just Pocono Regional Paranormal? And it just sounded right. And ever since that night, we've been Pocono Regional Paranormal.
Perfect. That is so awesome. Um, oh, that isn't even the right list. Holy cow. I didn't even look. Um, so mid 2021, you guys got out and started um, getting out and doing more investigations. How many investigations have you done over the past few years? Do you know?
I'd say almost close to 50. Close to 50.
There's been some that the last about 13 or 14 are on our YouTube page. We post the raw footage. But before that, we've been to other places where we just went to just to see if we had anything, if we could do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those deals. It's anybody that tells you they're going to go and investigate a place and they're going to get something. It's going to be amazing all night long. That's not true. It's
Right.
going to be hours and hours of boredom waiting for something to happen, and sometimes maybe nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
the ones that we've have documented, we've done about 15, and other than that, we're up to about 50.
Yeah. We
That's
haven't
awesome.
posted everything.
No, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So, John, tell me what got you interested in the paranormal. Was it an experience?
Um, so kind of an experience. It was when I was younger. My parents built a house up here in the Poconos. We moved up from Florida. Um, and the property was like an old farm in the Poconos, and I always would see things in the woods and whatnot. And sometimes we would hear my sisters and me. We would hear like just drums beating, and it was always weird. And that's kind of what got me into doing paranormal. I always was a fan of it. I used to watch what was the name of the place or the name of the show? Scariest Places on Earth.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
When
yeah,
I
that
was
was a
younger, I used to love
favorite.
the creepy voice. I love that show.
Yeah.
And then it was Taps. I loved Ghost Hunters. And just recently, this past November, we actually got to meet
Yeah.
Jason and Steve and
Tango.
Tango. So it was like meeting my childhood idols right there, and it was awesome.
Right.
It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Um,
That would be great.
and and then like I watched Ghost Adventures and all that as I was getting older. Um, and then my sister, uh, we had a friend that had a barn, and it was they were like, oh, it's haunted, it's a haunted barn. So my sister and me, we were, I want to say we were like, she was like 17 and I was like 14 or something like that. And we were like, hey, let's go. Let's bring some cameras. Let's bring a voice recorder and scaring the crap out of ourselves. Of every sound, little rat running around, and it was fun. But once I really met Andy, that was when it really started. Like that's when I will really give the credit. Because actually going out and kind of understanding a little better what to do, what to look for. Um, Not calling every single sound or every single little light something paranormal. Um, it became more fun. It became a lot more fun, and since then it's just been a fun trip so far.
Journey trip has been.
What about you, Andy?
Pretty much the same. Like I said, I grew up in New Jersey, and there's a magazine called Weird New Jersey, and it's not about the paranormal. It's about roads attraction. It's about local legends, things like those things, and just it would be interesting. I guess I'm older than John, but there used to be things
Couple
like
years.
That's Incredible that would do a story about the Winchester Mystery House, or um, Unsolved Mysteries did a great story about the General Wayne Inn. And I would watch whatever I could. And like I said, back then it was very limited, but I would read a lot of books. I would read magazines, anything I could find, and anything that came up on the local shows around Halloween, because back then that's the only time I really saw anything was around Halloween. And just like John, the first night I saw Taps, Ghost Hunters, I mean, I had heard of the Warrens, but I never knew that people actually got groups got together and went out and investigated places like that. And I thought, man, you know, that would be great if I could do that. And I really never thought I would, because people say, "Oh, that's really interesting. Want to go investigate someplace?" No, no, I don't want to do that. But when you find somebody that John and I have been friends for so long, when we go do an investigation now, I don't even have to, if we hear something, I don't have to say, I'm going to go look at it. I'm just going to look at them and okay. And we'll go see what's happening. And it's to the point now that I don't know if I could investigate with anybody else. Our style is just how we've developed it over the past 5 years. And I mean, it would be cool to investigate with other people, but if that ever did happen, people would have to realize, you know, we're going to be us. We're not going to, I'd say we pattern ourselves after a little bit. The best way to go about proving that something is paranormal by trying to prove it's not. If you do everything you can to debunk something, you still have evidence, and you have evidence. And I mean, it's a funny story. When I was a kid, I was afraid of my own shadow. I was the kind of kid, if I wouldn't leave the house unless I was sure I was going to be back in before it got dark. And now I wait till it gets dark to go out and try to talk to the dead. You know, it's
Right? Right?
just crazy how things go.
Yeah, for real, for real. Hello out there. Thanks for joining. So I know you hit on this a little bit, John. You said that uh, you do research on the locations that you drop. Do you guys also do research before you go to a location? Or do you like to go in, like, knowing the history? Do you like knowing the claims? Do you like knowing it all? Do you like not knowing anything? So your judgment can't be wavered one way or another. Not judgment, but your experience.
So it's kind of it's a little weird because in order to find some of these places, I have to do the research. Um, and like Hungry Hill. I'll just throw that one out there. There was no claims about this place at all. And Andy and I, we were bored one Wednesday night, and I go, well, I know where there's a grave of a Revolutionary War soldier. You want to see if we can go talk to him? And so we went up there, and we were getting some hits on the K2 to start, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, there's no electricity out here, so where are we getting hits? And then we turned on the spirit box, and we started getting some relevant responses in regards to the specifically talking about like tree falling. Well, the soldier was killed by a fallen tree when they were clearing the road. So we since then, like, we've been there 4 times.
Yeah.
So something like 4 times, 4 or 5 times, and we're constantly trying to get a name because up there, literally, all it says is a soldier known only to God. And I would love to be able to, um, either through research of my own, or through some evidence, that we would be able to give this soldier, this patriot, a name. Put it. Maybe we could find out more about him. What is his family still? His lineage still around? Where was he from? Because the 2 units that were in the area were from either New York or New Jersey. Um, so I feel like research in general, trying to learn about a place a little bit before we go, is good knowledge. I like, especially if we've never been to it. I just want to find out about it. I don't want to try and find out what claims, because I don't want to sway myself. But I want to at least get an idea of what we're walking into.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that. So Aaron asked, "What's the scariest experience you guys have had?"
The bathroom.
The bathroom. So at the Pocono pub, We were doing Estes method, and I was in the upstairs bathroom. Door was open. Andy was out in the dining room talking. We were sitting there. My heart's palpitating right now because I'm thinking about it. I'm sitting there thinking or talking, and
And by the way, this entire interaction is on our YouTube page. I will
Yep.
share it later on to our Facebook page as well.
So we're sitting there, we're talking, and we're getting a bunch of random things. And what comes through is it's want to play, and then laughing. And as soon as I get done, aha, the door slams and literally physically just slams hard closed. And I feel the pressure change immediately. And I kind of pick up my the blinders, the blinder I had on. And I
Mhm.
realized the door was shut, so I come running outside immediately. And Andy's sitting there freaking out.
When you see the video, you hear two things. You hear slim, whoa! I mean, it was
And this-
just so loud. I mean, we tried everything in our power to slam that door as hard as we could.
It kept
Nothing.
bouncing.
You could not slam that door as hard as slam. I said, John, you had to do that, right? That was you. And the look on his face, he just saw whoever did it. It was just for about 20 minutes, the door closed, slamming it. I mean, really, everything we could do, we cannot recreate how loud that door slammed.
Yeah, it was weird because like you'd slam it, and it would want to bounce back open.
And another pretty spooky one.
So, uh-oh. Hopefully they come right back. I don't know what happened. Their internet glitched too much, I think. I know. I'm messaging them. Oh, but anyway, all right. While we're waiting on them to come back, what do you guys think so far? Oh, there they're back. There they are. They're coming
Hello.
back. You dropped. You went away. I was like, whoops.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It had to happen in my story.
Yeah, I had to.
Well, I was going to say, sometimes your screen freezes up for us or you glitch, you kind of cut out a little bit. So I think it's just uh, that, yeah. Ghost and Ladies. She says, I am a research geek. I think she researches a lot. Um, and then the perils of live streaming. Yes, because you never know what happens. Hello, everybody. Um, okay, so that would have been an experience for me that I would agree would probably be one of the scariest um, experiences ever. Like, I'm gonna have to go watch that video because that just sounded insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crazy. Aaron even mentioned would love to see it. So they did mention that they will go ahead and go post that out over onto Facebook. So if you guys aren't
Very well.
YouTube friendly or whatever, but towards the end we are gonna drop all their socials, so you guys can go follow them everywhere. Can they repeat? Oh, they only heard bits and pieces, and they want to know if you'll give that story another go, the whole bathroom
Absolutely.
story, so then we can get the whole gist.
Absolutely. So I was doing an Estes method at the Pocono pub, and I was sitting in the bathroom. I had the blinders on. I had the headphones on. Andy and
Tanya was with
Tanya was with us. Um, they were out in the dining room asking questions, and I was giving answers. Um, we were getting some random responses. Some of them actually made sense afterwards with
Yeah.
that arm,
That's
that
crazy.
arm comment. Um, then uh, then it completely changed. Like the whole entire mood went from like this someone trying to talk to like a weird flip where it started saying like things like want to play a game. Then it started laughing, and as soon as it started laughing, that's when the door just slammed shut. um I felt the pressure change, which and like a rumble, so it felt weird. So I immediately took off the blind and saw the door was shut, which freaked me out because I didn't want to be locked in a room. So I open up the door and come running out, and Andy's looking like pale,
Yeah.
paler than he already is. And I knew I was frightened from it, and it was something that has stuck with me because it was just so sudden, and out of nowhere. To be honest with you,
Right. Yeah. Um, Gals, she says, I love when evidence makes sense afterwards. And it does. Like when you actually start sitting and piecing, like stuff together with the questions that were asked. Yeah, that actually, when you come to those conclusions, you're like, "Daha!" Like the light bulb comes on. Um,
Well, not to cut you off, but from that same investigation, about maybe a month later, I was at work one day and I went out to get a drink, and one of the regulars said to me, "I was watching your video from upstairs the other night. Did you know that that was a guy's name?" I said, "Yeah, we got this name and that." "No, no, no, no. You got Arm." And like, Arm? Who's Arm? We just thought that it meant that the course was before that and he had a tattoo. And apparently, what happened is that there was a person who used to work at the pub whose name was Arm, and who had passed away, and had a very good friend that still works there. And we had no clue. We thought it was a part of the body. We didn't know it was a person's name.
yeah, this
So
was
that's
like 20, 30 years in the past. So
that's why we always say when we put up our videos, if you guys hear anything or see anything that we may have missed, no matter how insignificant you think it might be, comment, let us know, and I'll go back and I'll go through every bit of footage. And if I see it, I'll try to make sense of it. And if I can't, then we got evidence.
right. Yeah. That's crazy. So, do you when you've gone back and investigated there, have you tried um, directly contacting Arm to see if you can get any direct interactions with him? Because maybe he is the one that's
What
still hanging out there.
the last time we went back, before our Halloween investigation, we tried. But then that night it was incredibly loud down in the bar, and me with that place where we were at that time limited to when we could be there. It had to be still open, and it happened to be a holiday weekend, and there was people out until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So anything we could have gotten was overshadowed by the noise downstairs. But after that, we got that name again. Um, we just, I think, a one-time deal that if we could have, if we would have known, if somebody said Arm, oh, do you mean Arm and a name? Maybe we would have doubled, a little bit more. But it just sadly we were looking for certain names, and certain names were coming up to us, like in our EVPs and our spirit boxes, but we didn't recognize that as a name, so we didn't go any further down that rabbit hole.
yeah,
Mhm, mhm, mhm. So, Jean or Jeannie, I don't know. I'm not trying to pronounce your name wrong. Sorry. Do you guys prefer? Oh, they bounced off again. Love the internet. Yeah, they'll come back. Hopefully. Hopefully. We shall see. I love that you guys are interacting. That is so awesome. And yes, please keep asking questions. Because I have questions too, but I like um, listening to your guys' questions because they're much more fun. They're much more fun. And they're back. Welcome back, guys.
So we try this
Um,
again.
They're back.
yes, they're back. So Jeannie or Jean, she said, "Do you guys prefer investigating indoors or outdoors?"
Well, always indoors, so you're not freezing.
But I also think it depends on the location. Like, what's a Skytop? There's a resort in the area, Skytop, and their activity is supposedly happens in the woods.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's sometimes like Hungry Hill, we have to be outdoors.
Mhm.
Some of these roads we have to be, but if we can be indoors and to where we're not having to fight wind and cold and rumbling leaves. So if we hear a sound, even if it's a whisper, we say, "Oh, that could be here." So I would say if we could have our way every time, it would be indoors.
Yeah, a lot less contamination and
Right.
elements and stuff to contend with for sure. So, ghosts and ladies, and anybody that's just joining us, this is John and Andy from the Pocono Regional Paranormal. They're up northeast of me. And you guys are saying like the New Jersey area?
So the Pocono region, it's the northeast section of Pennsylvania. Actually, you know, the best way to think about it is take your hand, and here's the state of Pennsylvania. We're right here. We're the middle finger.
Oh, got
And
it.
New
Okay.
Jersey
Okay.
runs like this.
Yeah, we're about 30 minutes away from New Jersey.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, she says, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but I am afraid of coyotes and bears.
The
For
first time we
sure.
went to Hungry Hill, there was a sound. I mean, I was ready to run home, but John said, "That's a coyote." I seriously, it sounded so much like a woman screaming 20 feet away from us.
Yep.
And I just like, I had to look like Scooby Doo. I was scared. Yeah.
Yeah, when you
That's
hear a
hilarious.
coyote, it's not fun because you know he's bringing friends too.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time. Um, what is your guys' investigation style?
Ooh.
Well, I don't, other than like we've only done well, we've investigated indoors in two places. And I don't particularly think, and I think John feels the same, it doesn't have to be pitch black. If you tell me you have an issue, I see this at a certain time of day and it's light outside, it doesn't have to be dark. I mean, I think the reason a lot of people do it in the dark, in my opinion, I think it adds effect. Um, I mean, we're not going in with 20 or 30 cameras. We have like 2 or 3 cameras and a cell phone. So I think it's just, we ask a question, give it time, and if something happens, don't react too crazy to it, but I'll come back and I'll do the analysis. And many times, like the shadow we got at the Sherman,
Mhm.
I wasn't even looking for it. There was a sound that I isolated up on the stage. And I went up and I tried to get, whatever it was to make contact again. And I panned back around the audience, and just for a split second, you look up in the balcony, and a shadow's going against the back wall. And I
Nice.
called John immediately. I said,
Always,
"Listen, can you get a hold of Dan and find out where you were at this time?" And at the time of that shadow, John was down in the basement below the stage. There was nobody upstairs. So that kind of thing, I mean, you have to be very meticulous when you're going over your footage because it did not seem like anything, or it may seem like that, and then you realize, but that's not it. There's really nothing there. Like we went to Hungry Hill, we had a picture, and it was right next to me, right waist high. There was a bright orb, and then the next picture was gone. And we thought we had an amazing piece of evidence, and then we went back and we were able to recreate it. So
Yeah, there was a
just the
reflective
ropes of-
sign about 200 feet away, and the flash of the light actually caught the sign perfectly and created a big flash.
Oh,
so I would
wow.
say just we go in and we do know something about most of the places we go to. It's not like we're going in completely blind, but like we just get ourselves acclimated, and we'll start asking if there's anybody with us, anybody that wants to say anything, point out the devices that we have and how they can contact us through those devices. And we always make sure that whoever's there, if anything is there, they know that we're not there to make fun or mock. We're there to learn and help. And that's one thing John got mentioned a little while ago. The name of the soldier at Hungary, it may never be known, but if there's a chance that we can get him some recognition, get it. I mean, there is speculation that it might not even be a male. If we could find out who's there, then whoever is there in that monument can get the due that they deserve. And it's to me, it's all about trying to help and learn, and it's not about the theatrics. If we go someplace and we get nothing, I'm going to tell you we got nothing. It just
And
Right. And I
we
mentioned
also
that.
do,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and we also do like to go off and do like solo a lot, like in the Sherman Theater. Majority of the time, Andy and I were actually by ourselves. We went off in our own directions, mainly because it was such a large place. And I think the only time we actually really got back together was when we went to go look at the tunnels that ran under, like the
Yeah.
section of the
Yeah,
so the theater itself. There's an entrance to tunnels that out all over Stroudsburg, and we were looking down the tunnel, and there was like no way two big boys were getting down that hole.
but it was just awesome to confirm that the tunnels are there.
Yeah.
That's something that was really cool to be able to do.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, so Ghost and Lady says you have to review frame by frame, and that's true. In order to catch something, you have to go
Yep.
frame by frame. Or in my case, I don't really know how to do it. So I'm like, wait, did I see something? And I rewind it. And then I play, I play it again, and I do that over and over and over. Because I am so technology not that, and that's why we don't have a lot of like videos out, because I'm still learning on how to do all that stuff. But anyway, and the other thing I was going to say is, when you guys were talking about sometimes, when you go to a location, you just may not get anything, which is the case. For whatever reason, they just didn't want to interact. If the saying goes, if ghosts came out on cue, everybody would want to be a ghost hunter, or a
Yeah,
paranormal
yeah.
investigator, because you don't know. It's like hit or miss sometimes. Um, when it's like that, though, do you guys opt to want to go back to that location to see if it would be different the next time you went?
We have like what was it, the I'm forgetting the place. Hell man, hell.
I think the only place we
What
went
was
that we
it?
really didn't get anything, I mean nothing. We went to Henryville, and
Yeah.
we really didn't get anything. I mean, we got a couple of blips. We heard some stuff in the leaves, but again, it's outside. It could have been anything. So
And then we went back.
right.
We went back that one time, and we got even less that time. So then we were like, okay, no, nothing. Maybe there's nothing.
I mean, sometimes reports are just reports. Sometimes a feeling is just a feeling.
Yeah.
And honestly, what is a ghost? A ghost is the spirit of someone who's no longer alive. And they can have attitudes just like we can. They can say, I want to come out and say hi. I want to talk. I want to mess with these people. Or I just don't want to be bothered. You know, you guys come in, you nose around for a little while, and then just go home and leave me out of it. And that's really how it goes sometimes. You're not gonna, that's what the biggest reason we always say some of those, well, how much do you charge to go and investigate someplace?
No.
You can't put a price tag on something, because if you pay for something, you're gonna want something for your money. If you give us money to come to your house and put some cabinets in your kitchen, you're gonna want to see your kitchen. If
Right.
I come out and I say, give me $100 and I'll get you paranormal evidence, one of two things is gonna happen. You're gonna be unhappy when I can't find it, or I'm gonna have to be unscrupulous and try to convince you that something that's not there is there. And fabricated evidence is the worst thing in the world that ever happened to paranormal investigation, because it makes
Right.
everybody look bad.
Right. So on that note, do you guys do private investigations?
We did
We
one.
did one.
We've done one. We'd like to, but we've only done one. It was at one of our friends' houses, Carol. She asked us to come and check out her apartment, and I think to her relief, well, I mean, we didn't really get much of anything, but she still has activity. So does that mean we did something wrong? No, it just means at the time of day that she normally has activity, we're not there.
No.
Right.
So, I mean, we got little things here and there, but um, we'd like to do investigations like uh, residences, things like that, other businesses.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, we can ask, we can make a pitch, but it's really up to the proprietors if they want us to come back or not. Like, we had a great conversation with the son of the owner of the Pocono Indian Museum, and he said he was ready to tell us when to come back, but he said, I just got to clear with my dad, the owner, and then I'll get back to you. A couple of days later, sorry guys, we can't do it. And then you're going to have that.
feelings about it. It is what it is. It happens.
You have that sometimes.
Yeah, I I think maybe sometimes um, owners don't want to know. You know, like they don't want people in there because they don't want to know. They're like, no, like not that they're scared, but like if we do have somebody come in and they do find something, like what is that going to end up being an end result for me and for the people that work here? Um, so I think sometimes that goes along with it because believe me, there's a lot of places that I would love to go, but they're all, they're like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. There is no way that's happening. Or I have another friend who is in Kansas, and a majority of the city where he lives is haunted. So he's trying to get, um, the city to help open up things, and they're just like, no, 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 no. We don't want that kind of attention.
Right.
So, yeah, I
Well,
think
we actually had something come up about a year ago where we were approached by a friend of the proprietor of a local funeral home who has been having crazy activity. And he thought maybe this would be the perfect place for us to go in and try to prove what was going on there. And Don and I said, yes, absolutely. You just tell us when and we'll be there. And then he approached the guy again and he said, well, now that I'm thinking about it, it's starting to calm down now. I don't want anything to come back in and stir it all up again. So I'm sorry I even brought it up. And that's another thing that people have to realize. If we come in and we stir things up, we get to go home,
Yeah, they don't.
And I think that happened at a place we were going to investigate. And we explained that, we can come and check all these things out and let them know what we see and what we find. And we told them that there's a chance that it could ramp things up. And that completely changed the tone of the conversation. But I don't want anybody going into an investigation thinking that when we leave, it's going to stop, because we may anger somebody, and that's something that unfortunately we have to make people aware of, and that really does sour people a lot on the fact of the thought of having somebody to come in and do an investigation.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly big believer that pretty much every funeral home is haunted. Me, yeah, because there's just been too many people that have passed through the doors for it not to be. And
Oh,
like
absolutely, absolutely.
when I'm pulling up locations to post, I'm finding more and more funeral homes or mortuaries or whatever. I'm finding more and more and more of them. Um, all right. When you get to a location, what are your first initial thoughts or feelings? Like, do you kind of stand there and like take in, see if you can feel any vibes or any energy? Or do you just go in, set up, and just go in? Like, how do you, how does it affect
So,
each one of you when you go in or when you get there?
definitely, we kind of, when we get started, um, we normally take a quick minute. We're just like feeling it out, and also feeling it out while we're trying to set up as well, just to get an idea. Another thing that we like to do also is we'll take like the K2 around. We'll just get base readings, um, and just try and feel anything from there. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And that can set the tone of the night sometimes. Um, but it's all dependent sometimes. Like you'll feel something, uh, and say, "Oh yeah, I feel something," and then you get nothing the whole night, or you'll feel, "I don't feel anything," and a bunch of things.
Right.
Reminds me of our investigation of the pub. We were in the kitchen just making sure the batteries were working and everything. We turned on spirit box and clear as day. Good morning. And we weren't even investigating.
We were just playing around with the toy.
They're just saying good morning. Good morning.
Yep.
All right. So Tim popped on and he says, too bad we can't get
Hi,
together.
Tim.
Yeah. Hi, Tim. I have investigated a lot of private residents and have helped people with the paranormal. And that's like I said earlier, 14 years, almost 14 years in. And he has done a lot of residential cases. A lot.
I
I've
think
done a
that's the
couple
goal,
with
is
him, but
to help people out.
yeah.
I mean, if
So
you're
yeah.
in this, if you're in this field to make money, you're in the wrong field.
Oh,
We've lost money. It's not about making money. It's about, like, this is something that I say every time we make a video. This is something we'd be doing just as friends. But the fact that people are following our Facebook page or our YouTube page, that the fact that people like what we're doing, it gives us a little bit of a nudge to go out and do more and to try to do more things to give people a reason to come. I mean, you guys have come and followed our page. You're here. We have to give you a reason to want to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we don't just take it for granted. Like I've mentioned before, uh, some of these pages have millions of followers, and some of them you can tell they're just resting on their laurels. I mean, I don't care if we get another follower. We have 687 followers. I want everybody that follows to have a reason to stay. I want them to come back and say, guys, did you see what they had on PRP the other night? And there's things that we're planning on that are going to take us out of our comfort zone,
Yep.
out of
Out of area.
area. That are, I would say, pretty much on every paranormal investigator. And the reason we want to do it is, we want to do it for us, for the experience.
Mhm.
But we also like, we have a lot of followers for some reason in the UK.
Yeah.
And those are some people that may never get over here. And we want to show them places that they may never see. And there's places where that we're planning trips, and
Yeah.
it'll be a high watermark for us.
Yeah.
And again, everybody All our adventures, whether they're big or small, everybody's invited.
So, speaking of that, that's one of my questions anyway. What do you guys have in the works coming up? Are you still just going to stay in the Pocono area? You going to travel out of state? You going to hit up some new
Well, for the
areas?
immediate future, we have we want to. There's a few areas that we're around here we want to do. Like we want to go back to Clinton Road because we are better investigators than we were that night. We were just that night we were the two stooges running around the woods in New Jersey. And there's a road in New Jersey called Shades of Death Road that we want to go back to. But I'll let you.
Okay. So we have in the works right now. We are looking next year. This is probably going to be next year. We're trying to set everything up. We want to do a haunted road trip, and
Yeah.
we're gonna do 3 locations in a week's time. And as of right now, I'm glad we're getting to talk with you because we're gonna be out your way.
Yay.
We're looking to hit Sally House, Velisca Axe Murder House, and Malvern Manor. So when I saw you guys talking about Malvern Manor, that's why I was asking a lot of questions about Malvern Manor because we're getting ready. We wanna go there.
Yeah. Malvern is definitely awesome. We have not been to Sally House yet. Another one that you guys could check out if you want to throw a fourth would be the McIntyre Villa.
Oh, I haven't even heard that one.
Yeah, it's the 1889 McIntyre Villa. It's in the same town as the Sally House.
Oh, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
4 in a week.
And then there's another location in the same town. It's called the Dilgert House. And all three of them are haunted paranormal activity. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that would be awesome for you guys to come out and
Yeah, maybe there was a collaboration one of the times.
I would be
When
game.
we were
Jim
talking
would
about our
be
bucket
game.
list,
Yeah, bucket list.
when we were
I
talking about the
will.
bucket list, I told John there's one place I don't want to go. I told
Where's
him I
that?
don't want to go to Velisca Axemer. I did
Wow.
not want to go there. I mean, the backstory is so dark, and I mean, it's such a sad story. I
It
mean,
is.
for the people that aren't familiar with with the story, mother and father took their children and the neighbor kid to a carnival one night. They went back home. The neighbor spent the night, and the next morning they're all dead. And to this day, nobody knows who did it. Nobody knows what happened. But the more I'm thinking, John told me, listen, he texted me at work one day and he says, we have an opportunity to do something. And all of a sudden, I texted back. I'm like, yes. I didn't even think about it. And then when he sent me the picture, I'm like, what are we doing? But then the more I think about it, is getting back to what I said, we want to help. And if we can help get any stories out, something that maybe somebody else hadn't gotten yet, maybe we'll be the ones that can catch a name or something. You can't turn anything down. If there's an opportunity to help somebody some way, you have to do it.
Tim and I have actually investigated Velisca twice. So we've done that twice, and then we've done Malvern. Well, the whole team did Malvern. Yeah, those are good. Ghosts and Ladies said they will be following you guys after tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim says, just to be clear, my rule been in several homes and never charged for any investigation. As like you, he's not in it for the money, but to help people.
Right.
And I mean, that's what we do. That's what he's always done. And so that's what I do when I go in with him too. Is, go in there to help people, to help them be rid of all of their stuff that they have going on. Ghosts and Ladies, I did a 2-part live stream on Velisca. First part was about the paranormal activity, and part 2 was about the actual suspects in crime, of which there were many, yet no one was ever convicted.
Right.
and no one was convicted because there's a few things, but the crime scene was contaminated before the police arrived.
Oh.
So if you guys haven't dug into the history portion of it, um, when the I believe it was the nephew went in and found him. Some of the neighbor ladies came in, they cleaned up everything, like they did a tidy cleanup. And so they botched the crime scene. Um, so yeah, you got, we can talk about Velisca
Absolutely, absolutely.
on out there because there is a lot that is out there. So my team has been wanting to go to Velisca anyway. Um, so um, yeah, we would be down to do some collabs for sure.
You
For
said you've
sure.
never been to the Sally House. Maybe that'd be our first time. Everybody going there.
Yeah, Sally House is definitely on the bucket list for sure. We are going to McAteer in July this year. Um, and then Beatty Mansion that I was just on the week before last. That's in St. Joe, which is like 30 minutes away from Atchison or 30 minutes away from the Sally House. Because we went over there before our investigation at Beatty. We popped over into Atchison and, made our rounds around the town. Um, do you think most hauntings, this is a general broad scope, not just what you guys have dealt with, but do you think most of them are residual or intelligent?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think a lot of times that depends on the location.
Yeah.
But I think more by and large, I would say that there's probably more residual than there is intelligent.
Yeah, just imprints of energy in general um, can be strong enough to leave a memory.
Right, right. I'm that way too. I think about 50-50 because of a lot of stuff. And a lot of times you can tell, like if you just hear footsteps, but you don't get any other interaction or whatever, it could possibly just be residual from that energy that is left behind. Um,
Mhm.
which might, well, I don't know. As I say, which might could possibly be the pub, but I don't know. They interacted, so maybe not so much. Um, you talked about that one already. Because I was going to ask what your most compelling piece of evidence, but you already talked about it in your scariest
Hmm.
moment. Um, and we talked about your upcoming projects and stuff in the works. Was there any more that you want to add to that? Like
Um,
anything for 2026 that you're.
I mean, anybody that's watching from the area or even outside the area, if you have any places in the Pocono region that maybe you've heard of or places that you've been to or a friend of a friend, even urban legends, if there's any place who wants to check out,
yeah,
you
we'll
know,
do it.
get
We're
us a
open to
line.
anything,
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
nothing major as of right now. Um, we're kind of just I guess you could say we're still getting our feet under us a little bit.
And digging out from the winter of 26.
Yes.
We still
Right,
got stuff on the
right,
ground.
right, right. Yeah. How much you guys still buried under?
Oh, today was a good melt day.
Yeah.
It was almost 40 degrees, so it melted a lot today. Um, but I think maybe there's like 8 inches left.
Yeah.
We had during the big storm, we had almost 18.
And it
Wow.
snowed again on top of that 2 or 3 times. So it's been a rough winter.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, it was like 65 here today.
Oh, I'll
It's
take
coming that
that.
way. It's coming that way. If you can each answer this, if you could give one piece of advice to somebody who wanted to get into investigating, what would it be?
I would say probably stay true to yourself. Don't, like we said before, if you don't find something, don't fabricate it. If you, if you don't, I mean, if you do it the right way and you do it, evidence is going to come. You do it the right way. You stay true to yourself. And I would say if you're going to do it with another person or a team, and do it with somebody you're comfortable with. I couldn't imagine anybody else I'd want to do an investigation with because, like I said, we know if he's going to go one way, I know what he's looking for. If he sees me wandering off, he knows what I'm going to be doing. So that's it. Stay true to yourself and just do the investigation with people you're comfortable with that you can trust.
And
Good
I would
advice.
say don't get discouraged. Again, we've talked about this multiple times throughout the night. You're gonna be sitting bored, cold, and sometimes miserable, but it's worth it in the end. Even if it's just the feeling of I'm here.
Mhm.
I get the same way when I go out hunting for deer. I'll sit in my stand and sometimes I see nothing, but a bad day in the stand beats a good day at work.
Right.
What are those?
Out there bonding with nature for sure.
Exactly.
And you know what's very, very, very annoying? Like this happens to us almost every single time we go out. But the one that comes to mind is this past Halloween we did a live stream from the pub, and we for the first time we took handheld radios with us, and we were asking for anything. If you can click key on one of the radios, do that, this or that, and nothing. But we got you know some good evidence, and it came time to leave. Turn the cameras off, radio keyed on, right on cue. As
Always,
soon as we turned everything
always.
off.
Yep,
Yep.
always. Yeah, yeah, always. All right. Does any of our viewers or guests out there have any other questions or comments for John and Andy? Throw them in the comments, and I will ask. Um, while they were doing that, let's share with everybody what social media platforms are on. Facebook and YouTube, obviously, but what are your um,
The
like
handles.
Facebook? Yeah, handle. Yeah, yeah.
So we are also on Instagram. We are under. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. It's Pocono Regional Paranormal 2026. And it's all together. It's all one word. And then on
Facebook is just
there's just
Pocono
Pocono
Regional
Regional
Paranormal.
Paranormal.
There's two Facebook pages
Or
called Pocono Regional Paranormal because we wanted to do a web series, and I mean, as in, it just I think we didn't continue with it because we lost the logon information.
yeah, that was part of it.
The Pocono Regional Paranormal that we will post our videos to is all I can tell you is it's the one that has more subscribers. I think I'm worth
Pocono Regional.
873. Pocono Regional Paranormal.
It's Pocono Regional Paranormal 55.
No, it's just,
Oh, okay.
if you go look it up on YouTube, it's just Pocono Regional Paranormal, and each one of them has the same profile picture. It's a PRP.
Okay. So Instagram Pocono Regional Paranormal 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Putting it in the comments. Somebody did ask a question, but give me a second. And YouTube is just Pocono Regional. Oh my gosh, I can't type.
Long name. Sorry, it's a long name.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So is ours. So uh, Ghosts and Ladies say, do you prefer working together in an investigation or in separate directions?
I think that really comes down to the size of the location. Um, Usually, when we're at the pub, where it's the location, the area is so small that we're usually doing the investigation, both of us. But when we went to St. Peter's Cemetery,
The great one, yeah.
it is, I mean, it's the largest cemetery I've ever seen. And there were times I would wander off and I would hear something and I'd just give John a look and I'd go over and I'd walk around for a while and I'd come back and he'd say, were you over here just a couple minutes ago? And I'd say, no, I was about 100 yards up that way. And like I said, if it's going to be large enough to where we can both do a solo investigation and I can't hear his questions or his replies, then we'll be able to do that. But if I'm so here sitting right here with a recorder and he's 25 feet away, it really doesn't lend itself to a solo investigation.
Yeah. So I guess saying we work well as a team, but we also work well on our own. We can we are versatile in we don't get immediately scared being on our own. Like we'll gladly sit in a place by ourselves and do a solo. It's nothing scary to us.
The back to the Halloween live stream again. It was at the pub. So again, that's a very small area. But I thought to myself, John had his bathroom moment. So I decided I was going to go into the same room and I was going to close the door for a few minutes. And it's very funny because one of our followers actually in Scotland, Steph, hi Steph, she said when she was watching the video, she had a panic attack when I went in and I closed the door. And um, but even then, it's an enclosed space. But I could have stayed in there, and I can hear on the other side of the room. I can hear John asking questions. So if you have a large enough area, I would say definitely if you're comfortable doing it. If you're not comfortable, then stay with others.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable doing it, absolutely do a solo investigation, but don't go to a place by yourself.
Yeah, and I always have somebody with you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, Tim had thrown out, recommended tune into a podcast that was scheduled for this Saturday. Unfortunately, that is being rescheduled because he has to work, even though he said he didn't. Not Tim, the guy I'm doing the podcast with. So as soon as he lets me know when we're going to do that, you guys definitely need to tune in to that one because that one's crazy. I know way too much about that stuff, that actual location. Um, but he said, because you will discover about an intelligent haunting. And um, from what I know about it, it is going to be true. But I do not have a date at the moment for when we are rescheduling that. So I'll let everybody know. But Aaron says, what is your dream location to investigate?
Oh,
Just one.
just one? Yeah, that
I
I know
know.
for me, like I would absolutely love to get into like Moundsville Prison, the West Virginia State Penitentiary. Like I've watched Shawshank Redemption. I just seeing the stacks. I'm just like that's where I want to go. I want to see that. That would be like my number one.
If you had told me if I could investigate one place, I think I'd like to go to the Queen Mary, Long Beach, California.
Both exceptionally good. I see that question posted out there a lot. Like, what's your dream location? I'm like, just one? I can only pick just one? I'm like, for real? Can I have
I could
one in
give you 10 without
America?
thinking. Yeah.
I know, one in America, one in England. Like, can I do multiple? But yeah, but the one that's usually at the top of my list is always Alcatraz. And I don't know why. Like I'm drawn to that place for some reason. Because, I want to do Brushy. I want to do a lot of the prisons, but the one that keeps calling to me every time I see that post is Alcatraz. Every time.
Let me ask you
It's
a question.
actually. Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
It's not to cut you off. If you got to go to Alcatraz, would you do a solo investigation in solitary, in the solitary confinement area?
I don't. I could say yes all day, but then I get there and I feel the vibes, and I get in the room and I feel the vibe, and then I'm like, I don't know if I could or not. Tim says yes. He would he would do anything. He ain't scared.
Way to go, Tim.
He is not scared of nothing. But I'm always like, I think I'm to the point where I want to do a solo. Like, I can do this. I know I can. But then I get in the location and I start feeling the vibes and, picking up on the different energies and stuff like that. And then I don't end up doing it. Like, I don't know, like, call me a chicken. I don't care. I'll get there eventually one day. Um, would I like to say that I would definitely go in there and do it in solitary confinement? Yeah, that would be great. That would be ideal. Like, maybe that would be my push. Like,
Right.
oh, I can actually do a solo, because if I can do a solo there, I can do a solo anywhere,
Yeah.
type of thing. But I don't know. For me, I am not quite there yet. So, but we've
When
only been around since 24, so we're still, you know, getting places under our belts. I don't even think we've hit 25 places yet, so we're still working on getting
Right.
there.
yeah.
Those of
When
you that are, hang on one
oh,
second.
sorry. Go ahead.
Those of you that are just now popping in, we are talking with Pocono Regional Paranormal um, Group. It is John and Andy. If you guys have questions, we're kind of on the downside hill of things, but if you guys have questions that you want to ask in the comments, please do so. We'll wrap up in about 15 minutes or so, so feel free to ask questions. Say hello to the guys. Um, we've talked about kind of a lot of everything tonight. We've hit on things, hit left and right. So, sorry, John, what was you wanting to say?
Oh, so I was just saying, building on the Alcatraz. Like when me and my wife first got married, we actually, our honeymoon was in San Francisco and Napa, and that was one place my wife was like, "We got to go. I want to go see Alcatraz." So we went, and solitary is a completely different feeling entirely. That's a pretty dark feeling area, but an area that I actually felt nauseous in was the area where during the one riot they dropped a grenade from the roof down into the cell block, and you see the grenade marks on the wall, like all the shrapnel marks, and there was two people that died in that area, and you can just like there's a completely nauseating feeling right in that area
Hmm.
because they walk you
And that's
right through that area.
right. And that's during the day. So I could only imagine what it would be like at night.
Yep.
And I think that's another thing on an investigation. Pay attention to your feelings. If you're feeling something, don't just brush it off. If you remember the first time we went to Hungry Hill,
Yeah.
there got to be a point in the night when all of a sudden John just got quiet and he was just walking around, like kicking a can like he just lost his breath. John, what's up? And so he just had just such a feeling of sadness come over him out of nowhere. And I'm like, can you explain it? And he said, no, I really can't. It hit me out of no place and I don't know what it's about. And you're going to have things like that, and don't ignore it. If it happens, try to see if you can find out where it's coming from. You're not always going to find out why, but if you're you're doing walking around, you're doing an investigation, you're having a good chat, all of a sudden you feel so melancholy that you don't even want to lift your head up. There's got to be a reason for it. So I would say if
Yeah,
that happens, don't ignore it.
right. Yeah, you have to do your gut instincts, and you have to communicate and let people know if you're feeling anything, or yeah, anything like that for sure. Because if it's out of character for you and you don't say anything about it, who knows what could happen at that point. Ghost and
Yeah.
Lady said they have to sign off. They really enjoyed the interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Ghost
they
and
will
Ladies.
be,
Thanks a lot.
yeah, they will actually be live tomorrow night on their own podcast. So if you want to join them, you're more than
Absolutely.
We
welcome
will
to.
be there.
You're more than welcome to do that. Any last thoughts of anything that you guys want to share?
Well, one thing I want to say is I never realized. I mean, I knew that there was a lot of paranormal groups, a lot of paranormal pages. I didn't realize there was such a sense of camaraderie in this neighborhood.
Yes.
For the John and I were talking about 2 weeks ago. How can we get to 300? We were at 267. So how can we get to 300? What can we do? Well, let's just post this or post that. And then I believe you were one of the first people we followed, and you shared our post. And in 3 days, we went from 267 to over 500. And that may not sound like a lot to some people, but it just
Yeah.
for me to say it still blows my mind. I can't believe it. And every time we put something up, someone's going to share it, someone's going to comment, people will give us a shout out daily. And I just want to say, thank you to all the other groups. I'm not going to mention them all
Yeah.
because my memory is, I'm an old man. But
Parent unity is great.
Absolutely.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
this community is just, it's been welcoming, it's been helpful, and it's been very, very influential in us getting to where we're at now. And if we can help anybody else out, if anybody wants us to give them a shout out, if anybody wants us to come on a podcast they might want to do to help them get on their feet, we're the love that we've been shown in the last month.
Like just trying to reciprocate it like in the best we can.
Absolutely.
I'm always looking for like those groups that were like where we were like 2-3 weeks ago, and I'm just like, let's boost you guys up. Let's help you guys out because it's, I guess you could say it's like karma. Like bring the good karma.
Hmm. Hmm. Patriot Paranormal says good evening, and they love to support Patriot Paranormal. See, I knew I was going to mess up somewhere tonight. They are actually really, really cool. They do show a lot of support and help get you guys out there. Mary Ellen said, "Great info, guys. Thanks for the insight into your operation."
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
So yeah. Anyway, I do try to promote Unity as much as I can. There's a lot of um, teams out there that don't. Um, they're my thought. A lot of times they're in it. They're in it for the wrong reasons. Yeah, I promote. Like I have X amount of followers. I'm excited because for me, when we start getting new followers, we're growing, we're getting out there, we're being seen. That's why I post about the followers. It's not, it's not to make us out there to be like, oh yeah, like we now have 50,000 followers. That's not my thing. My thing is I'm just trying to get us out there to be seen so people can see the podcasts and this and that and the other. And that's why I do what I do. And I'm always loving on other teams and sharing them out. Like I share their milestones. I try. So I try to put the pair unity out there to let people know that it's not dead. Um, Aaron said, "Great podcast. Looking forward to seeing both groups grow in your next investigations." Patriot
Thank
did a
you.
kudos to me. Thanks. Um, but yeah, it'll be great. I would love to have you guys back on. Um, you know, lo and behold, come the beginning of April, things are going to be way flooded because we'll be doing a couple podcasts a week. Um, I don't know what pajama cap. I I'll read that in a second. Anyway, things are going to blow up. But for right now, we have podcasts on Wednesdays. Next month in March, we'll have podcasts on Wednesdays. Um, Jean or Jeannie, I'm so sorry if I keep butchering it. Amazing episode. Thanks to all three of you for a fantastic show. Keep it spooky. Peace out to
Stay
you.
spooky.
Yeah. Tim says, nice talking with Pajama Castle. I don't even know what that means. He might have been doing talk to text,
Pajama
and
Castle.
it did whatever it wanted. But I think he was trying to shout you guys out. Pocono Paranormal. Oh, yeah. Y'all know their names. Pocono Regional Paranormal. Oh, my gosh. PRP.
That's it.
PRP.
Just PRP.
PRP. Peace and love to PRP.
Can I just
Yeah.
say
Look
something
him
real
up.
quick?
Yeah,
Jen, not to cut
absolutely.
you off. The first time I went to a Para Unity Expo was down in New Jersey, and unfortunately, John wasn't able to go. But one of the places I wanted to go was I wanted to go meet the crew from Project Fear, and I waited in line, and I waited in line, and waited in line. I got up to front. Some of the nicest people. I mean, even the celebrities are so cool. John Zatz was one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, and he just sit there and talk to you all day long. Dustin
Dustin
Pari. I mean, the guys would just hang out and talk with you all day. But I knew. I said, I made it. I gave Dakota one of our business cards, and he just looked at it and sat down. PRP, PRP. I said, holy cow, I made it. That made my day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. He come back and he says haunted castle. I
Haunted Castle. Okay, we'll find.
We'll find one.
We'll find one.
Predjama Predjama castle. So I guess we're gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have
Oh
to
wait,
look that
wait.
up.
I
I don't
have
know
heard
what that is.
that one's in Romania, isn't it? Pajama.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I've heard of that one.
Patriot also said, let us know if we can help in any way. So,
Awesome. Thank
Awesome.
you very much.
Anywhere we can help anyone else too.
yeah, I do appreciate you guys being on here. I look forward to booking you guys back. And
Anytime.
then we will see what we can do. But you guys, for now, the next podcast episode is going to be next week, episode 2. Unfortunately, I haven't found any apothecary owners, which is okay, but I got a couple of guests. I think they do jewelry, like gem jewelry. So when I do these podcasts, yes, primarily, they are going to be teams that we are going to be talking to, but I do have some other insight as well. We're going to do some topic podcasts. We're going to do some an art. I think I have an author coming on who is working on a docu series. So these podcasts are going to kind of be out there. I do have locations that are coming on, so you guys can learn about locations if you are looking for locations that you want to go to. So there are going to be tips and different ones coming out. But I will say 90% are going to be different teams and helping them get out there and get them recognized and sharing their experiences and their stuff. So he said yes. So it is a castle in Romania. Good job, John. Good job.
Hey.
But anyway,
Gold star.
gold star. Patriot Paranormal says, have a great evening. They're going to go over and they're going to start sharing your page. So you guys hang out with me while I close this out. But thanks, guys, for joining. Thanks, John and Andy.
Thank you all.
Having
Been
us.
fun. And we'll catch you next Wednesday. Hold tight, guys.
Stay spooky.